Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has one more chance. The Europa League is the only chance of Manchester United winning any silverware this season. And if we fail to win the Europa League this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be sacked at the end of the season. We got knocked out of the FA Cup quarter-finals yesterday against Leicester. Leicester beating us 3-1. And it was an abysmal performance by Manchester United. The only positive from a Manchester United perspective in that game against Leicester was Mason Greenwood's goal. You know, good cross from Pogba, good dummy from Donny van der Beek, and Mason Greenwood hit it first time. Solskjaer gave his perception on the game. He said he's got no regrets on his team selection. And he says games caught up with us. But Leicester fully deserved the win. You know, they kept the ball well, they passed the ball well, they pressed well, and defensively they was superb. So it was a good team performance by Leicester. Iheanacho, he got man of the match. He got 2 goals and he also got an assist. Youri Tielemans scored for Leicester. He enjoyed a very, very good game. Totally bossed that midfield. Perez, he was good in the second half. He was quiet in the first half. I think he had 2 chances in the game. Jamie Vardy, he was quiet in the first half, but much better in the second half. He had 2 good chances. One that produced a good save from Dean Henderson. And he had another chance where he was one-on-one with Dean Henderson and he put it wide. Johnny Evans was very good at the back for Leicester, and Fofana was good. There's a lot of Manchester United fans that are now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. I think Solskjaer was totally blameless for the 3-1 defeat. Yeah, some United fans will say he should have started Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw because Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw have been our 2 best players this season. In total, Solskjaer brought 5 substitutions on. He brought 4 substitutions on at once, and some United fans think that his substitutions were wrong. But I was expecting us to beat Leicester because we've actually got a good record against them. That's the first time they've beaten us since September 2014. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. And we've not yet won a trophy under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager for over 2 years. If Man United do decide to sack him, who's going to come in to replace him? Now, I think there's quite a few United fans that would take Julian Nagelsmann. Don't forget Pochettino was the favourite to take over at one point. Massimiliano Allegri, he's been on our agenda before. We are planning for a long-term future under Solskjaer. But like I've said, he's not the long-term manager for Manchester United. As you all know, Solskjaer has agreed to sign a new contract worth £9 million a year, so we have given him a pay rise. Sources at Old Trafford said not so long ago that talks are set to begin any day on the new deal. Because later on this month, Solskjaer enters the final year of his 3-year contract. Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. Reflecting now on his being at Manchester United, he has gained some managerial experience. Obviously, before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and he enjoyed a very short tenure with Cardiff. And before then, he managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years. So he watched some of this team grow and develop. Now, obviously, we do adore Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United, but he isn't good enough as a manager. I think the job is too big for him at Manchester United. And Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United, it was going to be a massive job. He knew he had to come in and bring the consistency back. He knew he had to come in and get the right players in. He knew he had to come in and get rid of a lot of the deadwood. My biggest concern about Ole is his decision making, because in the vast majority of the games he's managed at Manchester United, he's been tactically naive. But there's also been some games where he's showed tactical flexibility, but he's got to show that persistently. This is Solskjaer's second full season at Manchester United. Now, I've already said to you, if we finish second in the league this season and we win a trophy, that'll represent a good season for Man United, and that'll give us something to build on going on into next season. We have got to credit Ole in quite a few aspects though. We're second in the Premier League, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, he's got us to the Europa League quarter-final, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to Man City. Did well last season in his first full season at the club. Guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us 3rd place and got us qualification for the Champions League. And he has made some good signings. He's spent almost £300 million at the club, and I also like the way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has promoted the youth. He's got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. We've enjoyed good periods under him where we have seen consistency and where he has got the best out of the team in some of them good periods, and he's improved certain players. We are unbeaten away from home in the Premier League for over a year. Solskjaer, you've probably got to say, is the best manager since Ferguson. But us sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wouldn't really solve anything. Because when we are inconsistent, not all of the blame stems from him. Maybe there's certain players that have got to take responsibility. For the last 8 years, we've been playing catch-up. We've made mistakes in the last 8 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. We've had different managers with different philosophies. 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson, and that was David Moyes. We sacked him after 10 months. He's the worst manager we've ever had. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years despite him winning the FA Cup, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. I think our board have been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. Reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. And the managers that we've had haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. Ed Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Ole. And even enjoying them bad periods, he assured that Solskjaer's job was safe. Our board have got a soft stance on Ole, with him being a club legend. I think the only reason Solskjaer is still Man United manager because he is a club legend. But disregarding being a club legend, I don't think he would have been here now. But no one is going to do what Ferguson did at the club. Sir Alex Ferguson brought success to Manchester United. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles, and he enjoyed a 27-year tenure at the club. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. I think we made a mistake giving Solskjaer the job permanently, but the main explanation we give him the job permanently is because he did very well when he first came in. He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. Now, hopefully Solskjaer will get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window. Obviously, we've got a new director of footballing in John Murtough. And John Murtough knows the club inside out. He's been at Man United for like 7 or 8 years. Obviously, we've got Darren Fletcher. That's our technical director. And he knows the club through thick and thin. And Woodward earlier on this season did a statement. And he says the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. The summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Our transfer budget has been revealed. It's £80 million. And a lot of Man United fans are shocked in that aspect because £80 million is nowhere near enough for the players that Man United need. But Solskjaer's planning to sell at least 4 players to bolster our transfer budget. He hopes to raise an extra £60 million, so that would take our transfer budget to £140 million. And we've identified 5 key transfer targets for the summer. We're looking to get a striker in. Now I think we're looking to get a right winger in. We're looking to get a holding midfielder in. We're also looking to get a centre-half in. And I think we're also in search for a right-back to provide competition for Wan-Bissaka. Solskjaer said earlier on this season we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. But there has been a lot of players on our agenda. I think the players Man United need to get in is Erling Haaland. Definitely get him in, because he's a player that would assure us goals. And he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. And his performances for Borussia Dortmund have been good. I'd certainly take Declan Rice in. He's a holding midfielder. Declan Rice is well proven in the Premier League, and his performances for West Ham have been outstanding. I'd certainly take Raphael Varane. He's a centre-half. I think he'd go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. I'd also take Jules Koundé from Sevilla. And I would take Pedro Neto from Wolves. We are seeing him as an alternative to Jadon Sancho. So I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer. Solskjaer's had the transfer summer with our new recruitment team. He was discussing our transfer targets and discussing our plans for the summer transfer window in general. We are going to sell players in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance that we'll sell Anthony Martial in the summer. A lot of Manchester United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial, because for the vast majority of this season, he's been out of form. He's had chances, but he hasn't converted them. But earlier on this season, Solskjaer backed Martial to rediscover his form. And he said he's been impressed with Anthony Martial's work rate. He's just come back from a hip injury. But if we sell Martial in the summer transfer window, I reckon we'll get £30 million. Martial was good last season, and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial has been at the club over 5 years. There's a good chance that Edison Cavani is going to leave the football club in the summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is hopeful that Edison Cavani will stay, and Solskjaer has revealed that we are in contract discussions with Edison Cavani. Now, Footballer Insider recently said that Cavani has reached a verbal agreement to join Boca Juniors at the end of the season. Edison Cavani's current contract with Man United expires in June, so if he was to leave in the summer, we won't receive a transfer fee. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer said that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United. And earlier on this season, Edison Cavani's father come out and said that Edison Cavani is unhappy at Manchester United and he doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Reports in Argentina said earlier on this season that Cavani's decided to leave the club after one season. He's been out of injury recently, but I think since Cavani's come in, he has made a fantastic impact. Now, Donny van der Beek, I think there's a good chance that he'll leave the club in the summer transfer window. Now, Mark Hughes has been talking and he said that Donny van der Beek looks lost at Manchester United. Obviously played yesterday against Leicester. Very, very quiet, but played a part in the goal. Now, apparently, Donny van der Beek feels loved at Manchester United, despite his lack of game time. Now, it came out the other week saying that Donny van der Beek wants to quit Man United after one season due to his lack of game time, and it said he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward. Now, earlier on this season, Ollie made an admission saying that Van der Beek was unhappy at the club due to his lack of game time, but Ollie promised him more game time at Man United. He has just come back from injury, but he's a good player. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van der Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. Pogba, he could still leave Man United in the summer. I think there's a good chance we'll sell Matic in the summer because he's inconsistent and he's not one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances, does Matic. I've always had my strong reservations about him because he's always been a slow player. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. And I think we probably made a mistake by giving him that new 3-year contract. Phil Jones, I want him to leave this year because he doesn't get in our team. Phil Jones is actually out with injury at the moment. He's been out of injury for over a year. This is Jones' 10th season at the club. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. There's a good chance that we'll sell David De Gea in the summer, so we can make Dean Henderson our first choice goalkeeper. Dean Henderson has started 6 games in a row for Manchester United now, so he's had a run of games, and I said Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper. And Juan Mata, I think we'll sell him in the summer because he doesn't get in our team now. Juan Mata's current contract expires in the summer, but there's an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Earlier on this season, Ollie said he wasn't surprised that Juan Mata was linked with a move away from the club. And I heard that 3 Italian clubs were in for him. Earlier on this season, Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. I think we'll be looking to get rid of Lingard permanently and looking to get rid of Delors permanently. So we sell all them players, will generate a substantial amount, and that'll help us with our rebuilding process. You know, these good players at Manchester United and these players that have improved. You know, Dean Henderson, he's done well in the games he's played in this season. Luke Shaw, he's also been very good. He's been player of the season by far. I like the way Luke Shaw's got forward. He's got into good positions. He's put good crosses into the box, and defensively he's been good. And Man United are set to offer Luke Shaw a new contract to bring him closer to the top earners. Luke Shaw has 2 years left on his current contract. But he's had a good career at Man United apart from his injuries. He's been at the club over 6 years. Eric Bailly, I've been impressed with him in the games he's played in this season. But Bailly doesn't seem to be getting his chances now. And it recently said Bailly is furious with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he doesn't feel respected or wanted by him, and apparently Bailly is going to reject a new contract. According to Bailly, we only want to get him a new contract so we can receive a bigger transfer fee for him. He's just injury prone, Bailly. That's my only element of concern about him. So in that aspect, he is a liability. But I certainly prefer him to Lindelof. Now, Wan-Bissaka, you know, he's a good right back. He's had some good games this season where he showed good attacking intent. He's got into good positions. He's put good crosses into the box. And defensively been good. But there's been some games where he's been poor, where he's lacked that attacking intent and he's been caught out far too many times. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. Scott McTominay, I think he's a decent player, but he's nowhere near that level as I want him to be at as yet. You know, Cam McTominay emulates that level. You know, he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. Fred, now, he had an abysmal game against Leicester. You know, gave the ball away countless times, was accountable for Leicester's first goal. And he's had quite a few other poor games. But he's also enjoyed good games. You know, Fred's not at that level as I want him to be at. Fred, you can say, wasn't worth the £52 million that we got him for from Shakhtar Donetsk. Paul Pogba, give him credit, he's done well. Was quiet though in the game against Leicester yesterday. But he did well when he came on against Milan in the second leg. You know, scored the goal and made an instant impact. You know, without Paul Pogba in that team, we lack creativity. You know, Bruno Fernandes, he's our best player and he's the best signing we've made since Ferguson. We have certainly overplayed Bruno Fernandes and he didn't start against Leicester yesterday. Maybe there was a lot of Man United fans that criticised that, saying, you know, Bruno Fernandes should have started. In most of Bruno Fernandes' games, he has been consistent, but there's also been a few games where he has looked off the pace. He just looks very lethargic, you know, that just shows how much we've overplayed him. There was narratives coming out a few weeks ago saying that Bruno Fernandes is refusing to sign a new contract at Man United until he has assurances of the club's transfer plans. Fernandes said on his 12-month anniversary that he's planning on spending many years at Man United, and he's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Mason Greenwood, I've been very impressed with him since he broke into our first team squad. Probably one of our best players yesterday against Leicester, got the goal. Greenwood made his senior debut in 2019. You know, he's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been with us a long time. Greenwood has made his 80-odd first-team appearances. Earlier on this season, he signed a new 4-year contract with the club. But he deserved a new contract, reflecting on his good performances. Sometimes we play Greenwood centrally, sometimes we put him on the right wing. Marcus Rashford, now, he's injured at the moment, didn't play any part against Leicester, and Marcus Rashford is a big miss. He's a good player, Rashford, but he's also enjoyed his bad games where he has totally looked off the pace and he hasn't got them good runs in behind and he's created very little. But when he plays well, Rashford, he can get good runs in behind, he can create chances and he can score good goals. We just need to keep Marcus Rashford out on that left-hand side because that's where he's more effective. Sometimes we play Rashford out on the right wing, sometimes we play him centrally. I don't like Rashford centrally. And Cavani, you know, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. So like I've said, our current squad is good enough to finish at least in the top 4. But at the moment, it's not good enough to win the Premier League. I don't see us winning a title under Ole. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. I don't think we're going to win the league for at least the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. It all depends on how we recruit. And plus, I think we've got to get a manager in who's got the big club arrogance, and Solskjaer hasn't got that. And we need a manager in who will suit the strappings of the club. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.